Give me a wife. Give me a wife. Yes, I am ready. I need more enemies to lovers. Give it to me. Give it to me. I ended up rating this a 2 out of 5, and here's why. Hi friend, welcome to my channel. My name is Kimberly, and today we're going to be doing a March wrap-up where I discuss the books that I read throughout March. Now, March was a doozy. I was not expecting this, actually, but it happened to be one of those months where everything that you expect to not like, you end up loving, and then everything you expect to like, you end up not so much. Let's get into the first book, which is Pestilence. Okay, so Pestilence was interesting. I saw a lot of people either really love it or really hate it, and it kind of piqued my interest for that specific reason, so I picked it up, and it was definitely not what I expected. In Pestilence, we follow Sarah Burns, and Sarah Burns is a firefighter who is dealing with the apocalypse. So the world is ending, there's 4 horsemen who've come to Earth to completely obliterate it, and they're actually, one of them, named Pestilence, is going through her town. So her and her friends decide that they're going to draw sticks, and whoever gets the shorter stick is going to be the one who has to sacrifice themselves and try to take down Pestilence to save the world, essentially. Unfortunately, the main character, Sarah, she ends up drawing the short stick, quite literally, and has to murder Pestilence. So yeah, that's basically the book. That's where the plot pretty much ends with that one. I was expecting it to be more fantasy and world-driven. However, it was just straight up romance. And it wasn't a bad book. It just wasn't my personal preference. I didn't necessarily vibe well with the writing style. And unfortunately, I was expecting to see some classic enemies to lovers, some witty banter, and she just kind of liked him right away. She saw him and she was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ride him to the apocalypse. Yep, absolutely. And she just liked him. So, I mean, good for her, I guess, but I was expecting something different. So I won't say that it was a terrible book. Did I like it? It wasn't my cup of tea, but I think it's because I went into it expecting something entirely different than what it turned out to be, which is probably my problem, not the author's. So I ended up DNFing Pestilence. I managed to get quite a bit through it. When I was looking through my app, because I read the ebook version. When I was looking through my app, on here it says there's about 780 pages. It's not actually that long, it's just because the screen's so tiny, obviously. But it said I got about 580 of the 780 pages, which is a lot. And I think I was going through a really bad rut where nothing really sounded interesting. I just wanted something easy to kind of ease myself back into reading again. And I think at one point I was just like, I just want to see what happens. Like, I just want to see where this writer is taking it, because it felt kind of, I don't know, like it was just weird turns that I didn't expect. So I ended up reading a lot more than I ever anticipated to read. And yeah, I ended up DNFing it. So yeah. The second and third book that I read this month was Of Light and Darkness and Of Blood and Magic by Shane Layton. I ended up reading the first one, DNFing the second one. It essentially follows Charlotte, and she's in the Czech Republic, and it's set in like this alternate universe where it's like elves and witches and magic and such like that. She ends up falling in love with her caretaker, and that's where the book, that's the plot of the book, essentially. Did I like it? I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Would I read it again? No. No. I liked the writing style. The writing style was fine. It was pretty at times. I just didn't necessarily care about the characters as much as I wanted to, enough to keep on reading. And because I was in a reading slump, I was like, I don't want to continue down this reading slump, which is probably why I didn't necessarily like it as much as I would have normally. I think I was just being super picky about my books because I was already in a reading slump and I was already not really enjoying reading. So I wanted to pick up books that I thought were easy, and I wasn't necessarily, I just wanted to find something that I genuinely would love and would kickstart my love for reading again. So when that didn't happen with that one, I was like, on to the next one. So with that being said, I read the first one. I would rate it a 2 stars out of 5. And as far as the second book, I DNF'd it. I then picked up from there because I was like, oh, I kind of want to read something fantastical. I really wanted enemies to lover, which of course is one of my favorite tropes. I took to booktube, I took to BookTok, I took to Goodreads and read it, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna read A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Yes, bring on the Curse Breakers trilogy. Let's do this, okay? I did not expect to like this book. I genuinely did not expect to like this book, which is why I mentioned it earlier. I was like, no, I'm not gonna like it. I'm gonna give it a try, but I'm not gonna like it. I'm kind of desperate right now. I need my enemies to lovers, my hate to love fix, right? Picked it up, loved it. Loved it, loved it, okay? So it's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, as you can probably have imagined. So every season, his one and only guard left in the entire palace and kind of friend, Gray, has to go out to the mundane world, capture a girl, bring her back, and hopefully, fingers crossed, have her fall in love with Ren to break the curse and to save the entire country, essentially. And he has not been successful for a very, very long time. So fast forward to the main character. Her name is Harper. She just so happens to be in DC doing her thing when she sees Gray abducting a girl, and she's like, oh no. What we're not about to do is that. So she goes over, attacks Gray, and then, you know, the rest of the book ensues. He takes her back and hopefully has Ren woo her to save the kingdom. Without getting into the plot too much, I will say that I genuinely enjoyed it. It was less romance than I ever expected a Beauty and the Beast retelling to be, but I wasn't disappointed with that because I feel like it brought a new twist onto the story, essentially. I feel like a lot of these are heavily romance driven because he has to woo her in order to break free from the curse. So only expects there to be a lot of pining, a lot of romance, a lot of tension. There was those things throughout the book, but it wasn't as necessarily heavily driven, which I kind of appreciated for the moment, which I was surprised because usually I'm all about the romance, but I feel like it was done in a tasteful way where it wasn't just like word vomiting romance constantly. It was a little realistic in the way where if you got captured, you'd be like, I'm getting the hell out of here. We're not falling in love. I don't even know who you are. I'm getting out. I'm getting out. I'm going down the trellis. You know what I mean? So I appreciated that. I gave that one, I was gonna give it a 4-star review. Let's be honest. Let's just say this. I was gonna give it a 4-star review, and then I was thinking about it and I was like, would I read this book again? Because to me, 4-star book can easily go to a 5-star if I would read it again and genuinely enjoy the experience. And when I asked myself, would I read this book again? Yes, I would. So it became a 5-star, but it's kind of also a 4-star. I don't think it's perfect and absolutely love it, and it's like my ride or die. No, but I would read it again. So it kind of bumped it up to the 5 a little bit, which is weird. I don't take that lightly, I will say. I don't give 5 stars that often. So I was really weird about that one, but I did genuinely like it. Now let's go to A Heart So Fierce and Broken. Ooh, okay. This one, I will not give any spoilers to it, but it follows Gray's perspective as he's on his adventure. I loved it. I gave it a 4 stars. I was super excited to see this one because I personally loved Gray the most out of every other character. I can understand why a lot of people may not have liked it, but I loved Gray and I wanted more Gray content. So I loved it. I gave it a 4 stars. It was dry at some points. It was good at other points. And I don't know if I'd read it again. So I gave it a 4. Then comes the third book, which is A Vow So Bold and Deadly. And this one wraps it up, has all of their perspectives. I'm not going to give anything away in that. If you want to have in-depth thoughts and reviews, let me know down in the comments because I will absolutely love to do that. I'd love to do that video. You know what, maybe I will do that video. Let me know if you want to see that video because I have so many notes. I would love to go through it and deep dive into it, especially because I think the third one came out in January. I think it's a relatively new release. I want to say it came out in January or February of 2021. So I would love to talk about that book. But essentially, I gave this one a 3. It was my least favorite out of them. I felt like everything wrapped up exactly how you expected it to be. I don't really like those kind of books. I like conflict. I like not everyone getting what they wanted. I don't like everything to be neatly, just perfectly wrapped at the end and just kind of everything fell together perfectly. You know, I'm not a big fan of those kind of endings, usually. In this one, I didn't hate it, but I kind of wish there was a little more something. I don't know what, but I was missing something. So I gave it a 3 stars. It was still good, but it wasn't great. Now let's get into the next book, which is A Deal with the Elf King. I expected to absolutely love this book. It has everything that I could have ever wanted. I was like, yes, I am ready. I need more enemies to lovers. Give it to me. Give it to me. I ended up rating this a 2 out of 5, and here's why. It follows a main character named Luella, and basically she lives in this town where every so often the elves come and they say, "Give me a wife! Give me a wife!" And they do. To keep the peace between the elves and the humans. They're very gracious, aren't they? So she ends up being stuck in this issue where she is now the wife of the elf king and has to deal with that. And surprise, she's got powers. And she has to deal with that. She's in a new kingdom. She's married immediately. She has powers. What are those? And she has to forego her entire job, family, love interest, future. Everything's gone. Poof. For the sake of humanity, because otherwise everyone will literally die, because the elves just kill away humans slowly. So eventually, you know, she goes to this world and she has to deal with it. And it sounded nice. It sounded like everything I wanted. I was like, ooh, this is about to be steamy. Yep, it's about to be steamy. What I got was a Disney movie, essentially. It was very Disney, very sweet and predictable at times. The writing style was okay, not something that I necessarily would want to read again and mesh well with, but I didn't hate it. It wasn't bad by any means. It just felt very Disney. Everything that I thought was going to happen, again, happened, and it wrapped up in the way that I expected it to happen. Who you expect to be like the bad guy or the thing that saves and all that stuff, it's very Disney-esque. I don't think I'd read the second one when it comes out. I really don't. I do want to give this author another try. I know she has another book that a lot of people really love, and a lot of people really loved A Deal with the Elf King. So I do want to give her another try. I don't want to just completely forgo her. She's not a bad writer by any means. And there's nothing wrong with sweet, innocent, like Disney books. Again, I was expecting something dark. So again, it was just not something that I expected. I think that I just need the reoccurring themes. I need to do more research on these. I don't want to get spoiled, so I don't read reviews really, but I think that I go into them with like one idea and I go out with the next, you know what I mean? So for what it is, take away my thought process of what it was going to be, take that out the window, and just let's talk about the book. The book was okay. It was good, but it was nice and easy, and I think it's an easy, good read for if you're in a reading slump and you just want something that's going to get you back into the love of reading, something you don't have to think about, you can just kind of just enjoy. I think that would be the book for you. I genuinely think that if you like that kind of book, this will be the book to go to. Then we get into the last book that I read this month, which is Kingdom of the Wicked. Do you ever have those books where you are so excited to read it and you're so scared to hate it that you put it off? This was that book for me. I picked it up as soon as it came out. I was so excited. I was like, yes, this is like the book. I am so excited for this book. And then every time I would go to my shelves, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know, I'm scared. I've seen a lot of people love it. I've seen a lot of people hate it. I didn't want to hate it. I wanted to love it so bad. I was scared to dive into it. I wanted it to be perfect. I was like, maybe I'll just like wait and read it on like an October night. You know what I mean? When it's autumn and it's nice. And then I was like, no, you're being ridiculous, Kimberly. Read the damn book. So I read the damn book. And I wasn't mad about it. I wasn't mad. Kingdom of the Wicked has romance, crime, vengeance, witches, Italy? Question mark, question mark, question mark. That last one's a little questionable. I liked it. I liked it. So in Kingdom of the Wicked, we follow Emilia in Italy. She is a witch. She has a twin sister. She has a restaurant with her family that she absolutely loves. And one night she finds her sister murdered, unfortunately. Just murdered. And she has to set on a quest to find who killed her sister for vengeance, okay? What she ends up finding is the princes of hell, specifically one by the name of Wrath. And her and Wrath team up together for a common goal to find out who murdered her sister. And it is very entertaining. It is very entertaining. So her writing style was fun. I really liked it. I liked Wrath's character a lot. I I really enjoyed Wrath, and I'm excited to see Wrath in the second book and how he changes and how he does not. He was unexpected for me. I was expecting him to be one way, we got another, which is kind of a breath of fresh air. I wanted more of his personality though. I felt like we didn't get enough of his personality, and same with Amelia, the main character. I really liked the main character as well. I feel like I just wanted more of them. I'd love to do a in-depth video talking about the things that I liked and the things that I didn't. I don't want to spoil them here, of course, so I won't go into that. But overall, I give this a 4 out of 5. I am excited to see the second book and how it like wraps up, and to see where they take it, because I was expecting more Kingdom of the Wicked. We ended up getting Princes of the Wicked, so I'm excited to see how it goes from here. It left off in a cliffhanger that was really good, and I was like, ooh, when's that next one coming out? Because I'm gonna need that now. And with that, we are done with the March wrap up. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.